Hello, everybody, and welcome to this new edition of GM Web3 MultiversX every Wednesday in the morning from 10 CT, 9 UTC for 1, 2, 3 hours sometimes to speak about what's happening on MultiversX ecosystem. And we have many topics to speak about this morning with my co-host and guest. Let's first invite my dear co-host Arno. Hello, Arno. How are you?
Hello, GRM. Sorry. Good. Very good.
Same. I have a gift for you.
Oh, nice.
I got this mug during X London last November. Hatem was a partner of the event, so as
Yes.
many other projects, by the way. And we could choose one mug among others. And I chose Hatem, not just because I like Hatem, but because it's the most simple one. The other ones was
Mm.
with the graphics and so on. And let's speak about it with the co-founder of Exities. What a transition.
Good morning. Yeah,
Joachim, hello, GM.
GM. That wasn't kind of the script. Now I need to go off.
No
How are you all
script
doing?
during GM Web3. So, look.
And
I'm impressed.
Joachim has the actual backstory of this mug.
Yes.
Oh, really? Tell us before we make the introduction. Tell us, what's the
Go on.
backstory?
Tell everything, Joachim.
Well, we
Full
were we
screen
were
for this. Full screen.
so we were discussing with the different partners what kind of merch would they like and what would be the best way to remember them after the event. And one of the main takeaways was mugs was very appreciated. And so I texted Arno and it's like, I'm gonna need some logos and some help. And then it's like, no, I can't right now. I'm at the party, but while he was at the party, he was like creating groups with me and other members of Atom for like this person will help you with that, with this person will help you with this, and in like I would say an hour we had wrapped up the design and everything. So very speedy and fun um, story.
So that's why the mug is very simple, but that's the way I like it.
N-
Um,
I think that's what I had, but Anu will confirm that. I think that's what Adams likes
You're,
to have it very simple and elegant.
you're not
if you
telling
see,
the full story, but I don't know if you actually have the backstage of this, because the first time you share, Joachim did this design, and so I share it internally, and we have a team member, and I will put him on the grill. Andre is a very stylish person, and so when he saw the mug, he said no, and and I actually I was busy, in real life, and so Andre started,
this one would have been great.
yeah, but a bit crowded maybe, but you know what, and so Andre starts, writing suggestions, etc. And so then I say, you know what, man? And I create the group with Joachim and I say, you wanted something else, just do it with Joachim. And in the end, it's Joachim's designs. So I
Yeah, no, I
always
didn't
find
have
this
that
very
part of the
funny.
story, but yeah, no, it,
Okay.
it, it it was a very popular one.
So what's up with Exities, Joachim?
That is a great question. So in the last, well, since the event, we've been very active and in preparation for what's next, and we've started discussing for quite a while now with MultiversX in how to expand and make Exitis better, bigger, and ensure that MultiversX is on the map across Europe and then the rest of the world by having events that are both open to community members where we can gather around. And that's what we saw during X London. So many people from the community came just to have a good time together, but also external people, students, researchers. We had a lot of people like that at X London that are the main target of such events, to make them discover and educate them about blockchain technology during a fun weekend by using as use case MultiversX. So we're hoping to be able to work with closer with the MultiversX team to offer those events for the rest of the year. So I can't give you a date yet for the next event, but we are already in preparation, just waiting for the green light from certain other parties.
But that's brilliant, man. That's great. It shows that you did great job. So I'm very happy for you.
I appreciate it.
Very happy
And
for you.
and you need to come next time.
But yes, but I don't remember what happened, but there was a good reason I couldn't be there.
Yeah, I don't recall, but I remember you saying it's like, okay, that's a valid response.
Yeah. But yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
let's move on. And first of all, I'm very happy, of course, to be there. Like every Wednesday, we have several topics to speak about. We will be joined by Davey EGLD, David Crypto, shortly. So about the program today, first we'll speak about USH. USH, I don't know how you want to call it, because date is coming. After we'll speak about Bybit hack. So we'll try to understand what happened. Yesterday, I had an interview with a former employee of Ledger who explained to me everything. It was very, very interesting, but it was in French. So we'll try to explain it in English. And with Joachim and maybe you, Arno, we'll try to understand why that could not happen on MultiversX for different security and protocol reasons. So it's interesting to speak about it. And I have two more topics. We'll speak about the new chapter for EGLD ecosystem according to Lucian. So we'll try to understand what he means by this. And I have two other not MultiversX topic if we have time. First about gold at Fort Knox, and about the SEC that drops 3 crypto investigations this last days. So it's pretty cool for a crypto ecosystem. But we'll see if we have time to discuss about this and if this is something that is interesting for you. But this is the most important topics this week on the crypto ecosystem. So let's welcome Davey. Hello, Davey. What's up and welcome. Welcome and what's up?
Hey guys, how is going?
Our
Okay.
fratello from Italy.
Ciao a tutti, ciao ciao.
I think, this is the most beautiful language in the world. Italian.
You said
It's
so. You said so. Like
it's so
honestly,
melodic.
I'm always against France, but French songs are really great because like the language is great for for singing.
I think it's
the
like
last thing let us say.
I think it's like
positive about
the cook.
France.
The French is the best cook in the world,
Yeah.
and Italian is the second one, in my opinion, and it's the same for language.
You're risking
that. But agree to disagree.
I don't know. It depends. It depends on the
Let's
type
not
of
trigger
food.
this topic because, in the audience, we might have non-French, non-Italian people, and they will find us very douchey,
I think everybody is a bit douchey on MultiversX community. So let's assume that we can be too. Glad to have you,
Did you see that
Davey.
I put my my beautiful
Oh.
Bugatti t-shirt?
Your turn now.
Yes.
Very good, very good. Okay, so let's start. But first, let's thank the sponsors of GM Web3. First of all, it's Atom protocol. We are all always speaking about Atom because it's everywhere. Thank you very much, Atom, for your support for a month now on GM Web3. And you with the second sponsor, EAPS, we'll speak about it later, are offering $30 in tokens to 2 winners. So guys, you just need to retweet the post on X, the space link on Twitter, and I will make the draw by the end of the day. So $30 in token to win, 15 in HTM and 15 in EAPS token. So thank you, Atom. If you don't know Atom already, it's the leading lending, borrowing, and liquid staking protocol on MultiversX, so you can optimize your yield and your staking with their protocol. And soon they are releasing USH, the first native stablecoin on MultiversX, and the transition is perfect. To give the mic to Arno to speak about Ash. Davey is also part of Atom ecosystem as an ambassador, as far as I know. And yeah, so guys, what's up with the USH? First, the date is March 3rd. Is it still accurate? And yeah, what's going on before we start maybe to speak about the mint processes? Yeah, Arno.
It is March 3rd, and it is 4 p.m. UTC.
Oh,
to the minute.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a precise countdown because we know people love countdowns on MultiversX. So this is the way to launch a product. You do a countdown.
The question is, will you stop displaying it after some time? Just for that would be very fun if you stop displaying it for a few days before you actually launch it.
That would be fun, actually. It would be a cool, a cool
Easter egg.
yeah, an Easter egg, and also a nutmeg to Benny. So no, still on time. Yeah.
So what are you doing? Is it ready and you're just waiting, or you still have stuff to do, testing, technical stuff? So I don't know.
No.
Tell us about the backstage a little bit.
Yes. So if you want the backstage, everything is completely ready, fully audited on all the products. What we are fine-tuning is actually the UI of the Booster V2, because those products integrate with the rest of the protocol, and in the new version of the protocol, once USH launches, you're going to have the booster in several products. So in the lending protocol and in USH. So we are actually testing with some of the team and also community members to see how we can, fine tune so it's really crystal clear as possible. So this is what's happening, and of course, coordinating with all the various partners who are also helping us with the launch and the communications and marketing campaign. So that's what's happening in the backstage. So
Okay,
if I can transition, what's the word?
First, we have a question from the audience. So it's not like
Okay.
an AMA, but you know that on GM Web3 you can ask any question you want in the comment, and we always try to answer them as best as possible. So a question for you, Arno, I found on X. So why is it called native stable on MultiversX, although most collateral used be bridged or double bridged? And what will happen to Ash if one of those bridges is hacked? The questions are relevant, so I'll let you answer if you can.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I'm sure. So on the first part of the question, I'll answer, and the second part I will leave it to Davey because I think he will be more resourceful than me. Sorry to put you on the spot, Davey. So
Yeah, it's
it
okay.
is called native because USH is created on MultiversX. So when you use USDC on MultiversX, it is a stablecoin that has been bridged. USH will not be bridged. It will be created, minted on the MultiversX blockchain. As to the collateral that is going to be backing it, collateralizing it, I would argue that most of it is going to be EGLD, but of course you're right. There are going to be collateral from outside MultiversX, so bridged assets. And Davey, what happens if, let's say, the MultiversX bridge is hacked and the original USDC coming from, I don't know, Ethereum gets drained? What happens then?
Oh, we can't hear you, Davey.
Maybe Davey is muted.
Yeah, guys, I lost the connection. So you said everything about the why it's native.
So, okay, I explained why it's native. I also explained that most of the collateral of USH is going to be EGLD, so not bridged asset. But of course, you can have collateral. You can mint USH with collateral coming from assets that originally came from outside MultiversX, wrapped USDC, wrapped USDT, wrapped BTC, wrapped ETH. So my question to you was, what happens if you mint USH with, for example, wrapped USDC, and this USDC comes from Ethereum and it is locked in the MultiversX bridge? What if the MultiversX bridge gets hacked and this original USDC gets drained? Then what happens to the collateral, and what is the potential impact on USH?
So I need to think about it a little, but like here in 2 seconds, I'd say that even if the breach has to be hacked, what would happen is for users to have some like those tokens. Uh, yeah, like it depends on the type of the hack, but it could happen that not all the wrapped assets are backed by one-to-one tokens on the other side, and so potentially making the asset not as valuable as its native counterpart. What I'd say is that yes, there's this added risk because we have bridges on MultiverSX. Is also the same for rapid USDC, wrapped USDT, for BTC and Ethereum in the chain. I think
So sorry,
one,
Davey. Jerem, can you mute yourself when you use your keyboard,
Oh,
please?
sorry.
Thanks.
the great thing about the bridges that we have on MultiverSX is that they have multiple audits. They had penetration tests. They were tested for long. Like let's say the one that has been longing for less is the Tau bridge, which is run by the Atom team. But even that was like audited at a penetration test, and it's also not that complex. Let's say from so it's easier to know that it's safe. But yes, we could say that it's another risk, and like it's something that we'll work on. And I know that the Atom team, for example, changed the bridge in order to make it more safe. It was a manual at the beginning. Now it's automatic. So it's a constant effort of trying to see, trying to improve things, trying to improve security, and like I'd not be worried too much, to be honest.
What
But yes,
what
like if you
what
want to acknowledge all the possible risk, yes, it is one of them. Like as most multiverse DeFi.
Yes, because what I would like to add is that yes, well, first of all, it's over collateralized, meaning that there is a part, if something were to happen to part of the funds backing USH, and tell me if I'm wrong, because it is over collateralized, it would still have a certain a room before it actually goes under the value of one. That's the purpose of over collateralized assets. Like we've seen with DAI, when there was the depeg of USDC like a bit over a year ago, people weren't worried about DAI because it would need to go much lower before it actually would start depegging too. But in addition to that, as everybody's explaining, USDC is already bridged. So the other option is using a stablecoin that is fully bridged and has no other collateralization on MultiversX to protect it. So if we take the option of the worst of two, bridged USDC is much worse than having a stablecoin that is collateralized by assets that are already native of the chain plus some others. So I would say it's actually a good thing because it diversifies, because obviously USH isn't fully backed only by USDC but by other tokens.
Yes, ultimately what's important to secure USH is the capacity to liquidate when markets or assets fluctuate. What Davey pinpointed to was, if on one side what is backing the bridged asset, so you have one USDC, native USDC on Ethereum that is locked, you have another wrapped USDC that is created on MultiversX as a derivative. The issue becomes, once the original asset becomes drained, then it means, sorry, you don't have one for one. So if you want to exit your liquidity and your wrapped USDC from MultiversX, there might not be the liquidity to back this. So what could happen is that people will try to exchange their wrapped USDC for wrapped USDT, because let's say that USDT wouldn't have been drained, then the value basically of the peg of the USDC on the MultiversX blockchain will go under the peg. And because the bridge will have been hacked, you won't have the necessary like the possibility for arbitrageurs to come from outside of MultiversX, bridge some new stablecoins, and arbitrage. So what will happen then is that the collateral backing of USDC for USH will move, and so you could get possibly liquidated as if you were backing your mint, your USH mint with EGLD, and EGLD price goes down. So, but there, the problem would be, once you want to liquidate this position, since USDC will be depegging, liquidators won't have the same incentive to liquidate the position. This is where you have potentially a scenario that is bad. But as Davey said, the MultiversX bridge and the Atom bridge for Tau with the Bitensor ecosystem has been improved over time, countless times, audited countless times too. The biggest bridge here is the MultiversX bridge. If I believe a few months ago, it had a big upgrade, becoming a decentralized bridge, meaning that you have several operators that have to be compromised to compromise the bridge. So it's becoming, a very, very resilient piece of infrastructure.
Thank you very much, guys. So let's now try to explain how to mint Ash. You already spoke about it on the show, but because date is coming, I think it's important so everyone knows how to mint. And after, of course, we'll speak next week about the strategies, how to use, how to optimize, and so on.
Yes. Okay. So this is one of the challenges that people may have. If you don't live under a rock and you go on X recently, you see people talking about USH quite a lot, the potential impact, etc., etc., etc. And it can be a bit complex, and it can become very complex. So this morning, I want to show you one way to mint USH, the easiest one, so that we get away from the complexity, because you might want to mint USH because I don't know, you need $500 or euros in your everyday life, but you don't want to sell your EGLD. So how do you do it? Maybe you want to buy, I don't know, some BUD, some Bobber, any token that you want, but you don't want to sell your assets. So you need extra liquidity. So you could use your EGLD to get some USH and then buy those additional tokens without selling any assets. So those are the most simple reasons, and it is the most simple use case for USH. And I want to show you that anybody can do this. It is a superpower because it means you have EGLD, you have ETH, BTC, etc. Those assets have value, and thanks to this value, you can access more liquidity. So what I want to show you this morning is how to do it. And you don't need to be a Atom protocol expert. You don't need to be, using the lending protocol or whatever. You can just take your EGLD, create USH, and do whatever you want with it. We're even going to have an exportal debit card integration. So if you have the debit card, you can use your EGLD, mint USH, put this USH on your card to top it up, and then spend it to buy a coffee, a dinner, or whatever you want. So this is what I'm going to show you. One way to mint USH, thanks to EGLD, and you will see it's very, very easy. So,
Okay, let's go.
yes. Hey, GRM, I want to make...
No, because the introduction was pretty long.
It's not an introduction. It is the context. So,
okay, so
you will arrive on the Atom protocol. You can access Atom protocol on X. You click on the link. You can access it through Exportal. You go on Atom protocol. Once you're on Atom protocol, you will arrive on the lending protocol. You don't need to be there. Just on the left here, there is a blue icon. This is the USH icon. You go there. And once you're in here, you will see here the isolated pool. Isolated pool means you can mint, you can create USH thanks to two tokens. One is EGLD and the other one is Tau. We are going to show you how to do it with EGLD. So you click on EGLD, it opens up the isolated pool for EGLD. And so in here, you have a supply button. You're going to click supply. In here, you can choose if you want to mint with EGLD or SEGLD. You will choose the number. So let's say you want to put, 20 EGLD. Then you will click supply. So the EGLD is going to be integrated in your collateral. And then here on the right, you will be able to mint USH. And then it's simple. The USH will be in your wallet and you can go trade it, take it out on Exportal. It is that easy. So you go on Atom protocol, you go in the USH tab, you supply your EGLD or your SEGLD, and then you mint your USH. Let's just take it up one notch so that you are fully aware of what you're doing. You can do this for free. It is a 0% minting fee with EGLD, SEGLD, or Tau. If you come in and you supply SEGLD, what is going to happen is that the Atom is going to take a screenshot of the value of your SEGLD in EGLD token. And you will lose the staking rewards of your SEGLD. So basically, your collateral will be transformed into EGLD if you bring in SEGLD. The second thing is the collateral factor. To make it easy for you, what allows you to mint USH is because you have an asset that has value on the other side. In here, EGLD. The value of EGLD is its price on the market. So let's say, to make it simple, EGLD has a value of $100. If you bring in one EGLD, your collateral is worth $100. But to make USH safe, each asset has a collateral factor. So here you can see the collateral factor of EGLD is 75%. What it means is that you can't mint more than the collateral factor of your asset. So in here, you bring one EGLD that is worth $100. You can't mint more than 75 USH. What happens if EGLD price goes down and you have minted 75 USH? It means that the value of the collateral goes down. So the collateral factor is proportional. So if it goes down to $98, the EGLD, your collateral factor, the maximum collateral factor is 75% of $98 now. So if you have minted 75 USH, your position is now eligible for what we call liquidation. It means that some people will come and repay your debt, so the loan that you've taken by minting USH, to de-risk your position again. I'm not going to enter into the liquidation mechanism, but I just want to say one thing, because I've discovered in many discussions that people think when they hear liquidation, they think all their collateral is going to be taken away from them. It's not the case. What you actually really lose, is 8% of what has been repaid from your debt. So you won't be losing all your assets. Just
is there
8%.
Is there a notification? Is there any way to be notified if we will be liquidated in any way? Is there or we need to be on the protocol 24 hours to check?
So there is here the borrow limit used. So this is a way for you to see if you are in safe zone or danger zone, basically. So if if this moves up, you're going to see the borrow limit here and the percentage of your borrow limit that is used. So green zone, blue zone, orange zone, red zone. Once you're at the red zone, 100%, it means your position is eligible for liquidation. To your direct question, no, we currently don't have an alert system. We, through a user research that we've done last summer, we've seen that our users would be interested in such a system. So
yeah,
it is not a secret that we are reworking on the Atom DApp currently. So over the next months, we're going to GRM, you're typing on your keyboard. We're going to completely revamp the DApp, and we are I can't say that we're going to do it, but for sure it is something that we are looking into. But there are several ways that builders could do it. So if you want to build, I don't know, a Telegram bot that people could plug themselves onto and have alerts, this is completely something that you could be building.
Yeah.
Maybe Atom will support like they did with other builders before, like Autoscale, maybe.
Completely.
Just
yeah.
Okay, sounds
Those are solutions that
good.
bring value to Atom users. So completely.
Joachim, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think as you mentioned,
just sorry, can I remove the screen?
Let me
Is it over for you?
do it.
Okay.
There.
Thank you very much, Arno. Joachim, sorry.
Yeah, what you're mentioning about the alerts is a very interesting topic, because there's a lot of products in Web3 where we don't get notified. Like when you get an offer on an NFT and stuff like that, like you need to actually go on the platform to see it. And it is something that actually Wallet Connect, it has changed name, and I can't remember the name of the company since it rebranded. But anyway, everyone knows Wallet Connect. They actually started working on that, and they have an app called Web Messenger, which allows protocols
It's
to send
Reown.
Reown.
The new
Thank
name,
you.
Reown.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Thank you for getting the name.
Yeah, I like it too.
But anyway, so the idea is that protocols, etc., can send updates in one unified app for the user if you're about to get liquidated, if your NFT sold, whatever. And as you said, like I think the Telegram bot would be great. And the benefit of on-chain is, as you say, the information is on the chain, so you don't need to have you don't even need to work with the team to be able to do those solutions, because all the information is on chain. And I think that is one of the beauties of Web3. We can create independent tools without needing an API key or whatever.
Completely.
That's it for me.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Anybody who can technically build this bot can build it. And to be fully transparent, with my colleague Robert, we had this idea for the liquidation bot a while ago, and we discussed with Philip actually about the feasibility of this, and he said it wouldn't take long, to build such a product. So yeah, there is a cool product to build it here.
We have Project X, which is a bot maker, a great bot maker on MultiversX for years now. Okay, so let's see. But yeah, it's definitely something interesting. I was speaking with a DeFi expert on Ethereum yesterday on the show, the French show, and he told me about different mechanisms and different protocols, and most of them allowed the notifications by email or bots or something. So it can be something interesting, definitely. Okay, thank you. Is it okay? Do you guys from the audience or Davey want to add anything, or on the audience, do you have any question about how to mint USH, or is it clear for you?
This is what I showed is not the only way to mint USH, because you can do it with other assets, but I really wanted to show the most easy and straightforward way this morning. If you are on X, you will be able to see there's already many videos showing you all the different ways to mint USH, but there I wanted to show you how, in really technically, depending on if you're on shard 1 or not, but 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, you can mint USH thanks to EGLD.
But I think the most exciting part is the card part. I think that sounds giving a very smooth user experience, and being able to, as you say, like being able to spend dollars instead of spending EGLD and having to top up with something that is actually the same. But yeah,
It's incredibly, when you think about it, this integration is great because it is the way you bridge what you do with your decentralized finance strategies, and you bring it into your real life. And decentralized finance strategies sound super complex like this, but if you're doing staking, you're actually in a way doing DeFi. So you could take your staking rewards, put them in the USH minter, and create your USH out of this.
Thank you very much, guys, for this. See you next Wednesday for a new column about USH. Before we move to the next topic, thank you very much to eApes project, one of the first still alive NFT project on MultiversX. They're still building things, and they're launching a new NFT collection on Solana to explore this new ecosystem. So can't wait to see what they plan for this new strategy. And thank you again for the support on GM Web3, and they are offering $15 in their token, the eApes token. All you have to do is to retweet the link of the space on Twitter, and yeah, go check their useful links in description of the YouTube video and podcast just after the live. So now I would like guys to speak with you about security and MultiversX. First of all, let's maybe go back to what happened on Bybit during the hack. So I made a few a few synthese, summarize. I don't know how to say. Made some bullet points about what happened to Bybit. It was on February 21st, so a few days ago. Bybit is one of the major platform, centralized exchange platform. I don't know if it's the third or the fourth. But yeah, it's one of the biggest one, and they are based in Dubai. They suffered from a hack on February 21st, resulting in a loss of $1.5 billion. It's around 400,000 Ethereum, ETH. So it's the biggest hack ever in the crypto industry. So it's even bigger than the previous records, like running in 2022. So the hackers are from Lazarus Group, a hacker group from North Korea. They are responsible of the biggest crypto hack these last years. And so since 2017, they have accumulated over 6 billion in theft. So they are well, we can say backed by the North Korean government, and their theft or most of it related to the nuclear program of North Korea. So it's not just hackers in the garage working at something more geopolitical related thing. So about the methodology, as I was saying, I spoke with ex-Ledger employee and expert in cybersecurity who explained me everything what happened yesterday. You can find the video on the YouTube on GM Web3 YouTube channel, but it's in French. So let's try to understand what happened. So first of all, the hacker group targeted a cold wallet of Bybit. It's a wallet which is not connected to the internet, and on which you normally secure a big amount of cryptocurrency, and it's supposed to be well secured. So the hackers compromised the computers of the signatories through social engineering and malware. So just to be clear, this cold wallet, to allow a transaction, you need to have several people approving the signature. Okay, it's not just one people that can transfer funds to an address. So what they did, and it took months for sure to do it, if they first managed to find who are the signatories, first of all. Second, they needed to access to their machine, their computer, to implement some malware, so they can after hack it. Second is about the signatories. They used hardware wallets, most probably ledger ones. And the issue was about blind signing. So when they were called to approve the transaction, which was a routine transaction, it was not supposed to be $1.5 billion. It was supposed to be a few millions of dollars, like I think Bybit is doing every single day. They did not see it was $1.5 billion worth of cryptocurrency, and they did not see which was the receipt address. So it was like a blind signature, blind signings. And what the guy told me yesterday is pretty huge, because according to him and according to Ledger and the CTO of Ledger himself, this could have been prevented just by implementing a plugin compliant with the EIP 712 standard, which could have shown the complete transaction detail, so the signatories would not have been I don't know how to say, they wouldn't have been hacked, we can say. So
they would
that's,
have the full context of the transaction, basically.
yeah. Thank you very much. So, of course, I will let you, if you want add or correct things, I will let you the mic just after. But about the consequences and the recovery efforts of it, entities like Look on Chain, Elliptic, we have on-chain analysts like Zach XBT, but also Tether company, the issuer of USDT, but also other centralized exchange like Binance brought support to try to freeze some funds to help Bybit company by giving some loans also to be able to not a systemic risk to happen. Bybit also launched a 140 million recovery bounty program to hunt for the perpetrators. And about the hackers, they fragmented the funds through more than 50 wallets. They are using decentralized exchanges. They are using mixers also to complicate the traceability. And Lazarus continues to adapt its tactics to avoid detection. We saw the last information that they were doing like 2 or 3 transactions per minute, like for 45 minutes, and after they stop for 15 minutes and they go again. So it's like, you have guys in a room that are doing very small transactions to be under the different thresholds of the regulation and the different control entities. So yeah, it's a great thing. One thing to finish, we never managed to recap any fund from Lazarus death since the beginning. So the thing is, maybe we won't recap the fund, but maybe we can freeze some of them. So yeah, that's what happened. Maybe you guys, I don't know if you followed the whole thing, but if you have anything to add, feel free to do it now. And after, we'll try to understand why the MultiversX core team, especially Robert, talked about why this is not just a plugin problem, but maybe more a protocol thing around EVM and Ethereum protocol. Who wants to jump in?
I can take it.
Yeah, get.
So one of the things I just want to go quickly on the bounty thing you said. The bounty thing is quite interesting because it isn't about like hacking back or finding the identity of who's behind the Lazarus group. It's just spending time, as you said, following the transactions that are happening every 2 minutes and see when they actually land on a centralized exchange, contacting the centralized exchange so the funds get blocked and that wallet gets marked as one of the Lazarus wallets. So Zach SBT, for example, I think has made around 10, 15K in bounties already, if not more, just by pinpointing certain wallets. And we also see that certain sectors are being less and less popular because they are not responding to the Bybit requests of freezing the funds. So they are losing reputation across their peers, which is quite interesting. And yeah, to go back a bit on the Lazarus group, it is a very impressive and dedicated hacking team. It is considered one of the best of the world. And one of the things that makes them very different about compared to other hackers is their patience. They have a plan. It can take months. It can take years. They're not going to go for lower than what they had scheduled. Because even when I think about the fact that they've compromised certain computers to be able to change their front end, which we'll get back to, means that they could probably have stolen a few hundred thousands of those persons because they probably already have funds, and they decided not to. They decided to wait for that big hack. And I think that is what makes Lazarus extremely dangerous. And Bybit, like as you said, there's things that could have been prevented, and we've learned it the hard way. But like being targeted by Lazarus is probably like your worst nightmare. No matter how good you are in web security, they are just on another level. But as a reminder, as you said very well, GRM, this is social engineering. The fault is human, and that is kind of like the reassuring part of it, is that we are the ones who fail, not the code. I see you want to add something, Davey.
Yeah, like it was a human failure, so that they installed some malware in their computer. And so it's interesting what GRM talked about, which was the solution proposed by the Ledger founder, which is basically the solution with cold wallets, with like Ledger. And the point is, once you have a compromised computer, you can't trust anything that you see, because you have a malware that is showing at you like malicious transactions that show up as good transactions. So the best thing probably would be to have like a ledger that is connected to the computer, that you know that is not compromised, and so you see the transaction not matching, which is the thing where Sazu stressed a lot about, which is the fact that the transactions on Ethereum are not that much human readable compared to MultiversX, where
Yeah,
we still have to do a lot of improvements, in my opinion.
I think we'll get back to that part in a minute. But to, I don't want to say to their defense, but I just said, like, I don't think you are aware your computer is compromised until it has happened. Because again, with the patience that the Lazarus group have, you just think your computer is clean. And yeah, you could have like completely off the grid computers for those kind of things, but obviously you still need to receive some form of connection to check transactions. And I think one of the flaws is that they used a website to send those transactions. They use a software that is connected to the net and to each other. So from my understanding, that is where it happens. They deployed a new kind of like slightly altered version of the front end to be able to display to everyone. And that is where it impacted. So I find it extremely hard because, like, to be honest with you, I feel like 99.5% of humans would fall for that. Obviously, everyone isn't Bybit, and everyone doesn't have a cold wallet with 1.5 billion. And that is another topic. Should there only be one wallet with that much funds, or should they be dispatched? But yeah, I think it's a very, very hard thing, because we still need computers connected to the internet, etc., to be able to sign transactions, as now at least. Maybe we'll start using satellite phones for stuff like that in the future, but as of now, we're using regular internet.
Yeah. The expert told me yesterday that one of the things that maybe could have prevented this is to use dedicated machines, dedicated computer for such transaction, and not the like general computer that you're using every day. For example, Arno.
Just one thing that out of this, I didn't dig as you did, GRM. So thanks a lot for the context and the step by step. It's really interesting to understand how this happens, and also Joachim putting the emphasis on the regrettably high level of skill of the Lazarus group. What I felt from this this earthquake, because this, as you said, GRM, it is the biggest hack in our industry. But the truth is, it was handled really well by the Bybit team, because the ripple effect of the magnitude of this hack were relatively small, meaning that the markets could have crashed, but more. And actually, the industry, you see that the industry has most likely leveled up to handle those problems that can be systemic problems to the industry as a whole. And so, as you said, GRM, all the biggest stablecoins issuers came around Bybit to make sure that there were no default in user funds. So nobody panicked about the not being able to get their money back. And also, Ben Zhu, the CEO of Bybit, was praised for his communication, because the guy went on a live for 1 hour and a half, if I'm not mistaken. And apparently, I didn't see the video, but apparently
He was
he
with
was.
with his CTO also for technical
Okay.
aspects. So yeah, it was a pretty complete.
Yeah. So apparently, this was an example in crisis management in many, many different aspects. So
You know what it reminds me? Reminds me how MultiversX team managed the hack of X Exchange a few years ago. I don't know if you remember. I remember that Benjamin was on Twitter like every single hours, writing some updates after I think he went on live also to answer questions. And I remember it was a very, very, very good crisis just communication. Definitely reminds me this.
yeah. But it shows you that ultimately, when the system is at risk, whether it's Bybit, MultiversX, or another, and whether the trust can be severely damaged, you don't want anybody than the top dog. It's important then that the highest level of the organization
Yeah, definitely
becomes the front office person.
Mm.
And they did that in a great way, apparently. So that's good.
Joachim,
I
you
think-
wanted to add
Yeah,
something?
we could kind of say the same about the running hack, which was 500 million, so 1/3 of the last one. Because like running at the time was only Axie Infinity. Obviously, they were backed by a lot of people, including Binance, and working in collaboration with Samsung and companies like that. But like a 500 million hack, you would think like this is it, like you've dug your grave. And
It was
that's it.
$600 million, and just for people to know, it was it's a bridge that was hacked. So it was not like a centralization or something. But yeah.
Yeah. And yet running is still thriving today. They have their own chain, as we know. They're attracting a lot of Web3 games. So it shows, as you say, I think I just wanted to pinpoint that, yeah, like transparency, honesty, and working together seems to be the right outcome if something bad happens to you in Web3, rather than trying to hide it and saying deploying more capital.
And those things are bound to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, sadly, but it's not first of all, there are less and less happening. It also shows that the industry is growing more resilient. The products are becoming more resilient, even with EVM. We're seeing less hacks of this magnitude every day. We have drains, etc., etc. That's but on the rest, we have less and less. But it is relatively small when you think of the sums that could be drained in a few years, more and more money gets on chain because it is the most efficient way to handle the financial ecosystem of the world. We are building the infrastructure. The industry is building this infrastructure. So better 1.5 billion than 1.5 trillion.
Yeah. What is interesting is I think now everybody knows this blind signature problem. And I think nobody will pass on this security layer, we can say. So it cost $1.5 billion to learn, but it was a necessary evil, cynically. But I think now everybody will use this plugin. And Ledger posted something about that, like, okay, we have the technology, it's possible to implement it. But just to be clear, because I did not mention, the hack was not just through Bybit, but also through Safe, which is the multi-sig smart contract that is used by Bybit. And so this plugin must be developed. So it's not just an SDK you take and you need to develop it. So it takes maybe some resources, some weeks, I don't know, but it's not a big thing, but needs to be developed between Ledger, so the security company, the client, so Bybit in this example, and Safe, which is the multi-sig solution that is used. But this is something that is completely possible, that is used by many other protocols. So yeah, I think it will become a standard. But when I asked to the guy yesterday, but like when you say this, I'm just surprised. Like, how is it possible that such actors are not using this? Why isn't it like mandatory? It told me you cannot force people to do this. We developed the thing, it's possible, it's available, but well, people are free to implement it or not. But I think now all of them will use it.
I'm going to give you a transition to your next point, but I watched a video that I'm going to send you about one of the lead designers, UX designers at Uniswap, and she was sharing the current Web3 experience for someone who wants to buy a token in the Ethereum ecosystem. We have the same problem across the space. We have UX, user experience, that is just dreadful. And when I hear you say, oh, but the blind signing is a problem, so now there could be a plugin developed by a third party, and you can just fix the problem. I mean, at some point, it's just no. Users don't want to have a solution, download a plugin so they can be safe, etc., etc. This is a UX nightmare. It just needs to work by default, and that's the transition to use MultiversX. I mean, or other blockchains. There's not just MultiversX who does it in a good way at the protocol level, but this shows clearly the limitation of the EVM. Again, of course, there's economic incentives to not move forward, but I mean, this is dreadful experience.
Just before Joachim jump in with the MultiversX part of this thing, which is well weighted. Davey, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to answer on what you asked. So how was this possible? The point is, once you have a multi-sig, you are trusting others to not be compromised. So it was, I guess, 7 multi-sig. I don't remember the number, but imagine you have other 6 people that are going to sign, and you make this assumption that it's impossible for all of them to be compromised. So I think that was the reasoning for Bybit to sign all those transactions. And like it's a really complex attack because you need to compromise multiple computers. It's not an easy game, and I don't know how much time they work on that, but as Joachim said, probably months.
Definitely. And just to add us, the quorum to approve the transaction is 3 signatories. So, but I think they hacked more than 3 because you don't know who exactly are the old signatories. But yeah, took months definitely. And you're
I
right.
think
They
probably
trusted.
they act most of them, because even if you have 3 signatures needed, the point is one of the other signer tells you that, hey guys, here I'm seeing something different. They are telling the others to not sign the
Yeah,
transaction.
just one. If one
Exactly.
reject the transaction, the transaction cannot be performed. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you very much,
Uh,
Davey. Joachim, let's go.
so there's a few things as to bounce on what Arno said about UX in Web3. There's no doubt we need to improve UX in Web3. But in this specific case, when we're talking about managing that much funds, managing partially user funds, etc., you need to have certain security measures, like, for example, cold wallets, which will obviously add friction. I 100% agree that the regular user with regular amounts of funds shouldn't have to think about that. They should have a very smooth and secure experience. But for actors like Bybit, they are going to need extra plugins, custom software, etc., because they're managing insane amounts of money. And that's the thing that makes me think is like, how do they have a routine wallet that they're signing to? I think it's to top up their hot wallets when there's withdrawals, etc., that has access to that much money in the first place. Why doesn't have kind of like have a buffer? You know what I mean? But anyway, so what is different on MultiversX and why this attack wouldn't have worked on MultiversX? So there's a few things, and you need to take a few logics. So first of all, we don't have blind signing on MultiversX. We see every transaction that we sign, but that doesn't mean it's human readable. A lot of the transactions we're sending have hexadecimals encoded in transaction, but the difference with other chains is that the function that we're calling is written in clear English. So, for example, if you want to do a transfer on, Jerome?
Just because I think it's important for people to understand what the signatories saw. They did not see the details of
Nothing.
the transaction. They
Yes,
saw
sir.
an hash. Okay,
Yeah, and
so okay,
they saw blind signing on the ledger.
yeah,
Literally, you have an eye and it says blind signing. I've
okay.
done a few of those, and I don't like them.
Yeah. Every
Um,
time it gives me the dread, like what the fuck?
Um, so on MultiversX, you would see the function that you're calling, and then hash XSML encoded information, which you could still obviously copy paste somewhere, like write up. The problem, like, I think that is one of the issues with the ledger, right? Is that, like, there is a part of laziness, obviously, because once you see a transaction, like, yes, for example, in MultiversX, we can see that the function matches, but I'm not going to copy one by one the characters of the transaction on my computer to see if they translate. Like, once it's on my ledger, it's at the final stage. And I think that is where, as you said, like, Safe needs to work obviously with ledger to make it clear, and so we don't have any more blind signing on those multisigs. But once it has reached your ledger, other than, as I said, the first function, the difference between sending values on a complex thing like nesting call for the multisigs and MultiversX, is a bit more complicated. As you said, like, if it wasn't for a cold wallet, there's still a chance that, let's say, Lazarus targets me, for example. Like, they could alter the package of my exportal app and make me show other transaction. I would approve visually something else than what I'm sending. Obviously, this would mean changing as the APK of the app, etc., which is complex. But for Lazarus, I think that's probably quite trivial. So, like, that's the beauty of the cold wallet, right? It can't be tampered with because it's on its own, and that is why it's used for big amounts of money. So what Robertasu was explaining, because there was a bit of back and forth between him and the builder on why it wouldn't happen on MultiversX, because this hack has nothing to do with allow all and draining, etc. This is, as we've said, just painting a different transaction that what it really is. So the multisig that has been created by the core team, which is the one used, for example, by XSafe, does not allow async calls, which is the main function that you do to trigger a transaction that gets voted in your multisig, to upgrade the smart contract, which is what happened with Bybit. Basically, they approved an upgrade of the multisig instead of approving a regular transaction. That could not happen. You could still sign a transaction that sends more funds that you should if your UI got compromised and you didn't properly check.
So Joachim, so what happened is that they didn't approve a transaction to actually get validate the 1.5 billion. They approved like
a change.
You know, a change of the multi-sig parameters, so that then the hackers could take all of it without any signatures, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is something, yes, and that is something that can happen on most chains, EVM or not, is a contract gets maliciously upgraded and gets drained. And that is why I praise actors that make their code non-upgradable, because you never know if you're targeted, like a builder who is responsible for an exchange or a bridge or anything that has a control of an upgradable smart contract. If their computer gets compromised and they're not using cold wallet or whatever, that can actually be disastrous, no matter the chain. And I think that's important to pinpoint that. Like, MultiversX does a lot of things when it comes to security. We don't get draining, etc. But there are certain risks, like the upgradability of smart contracts, that still exist on MultiversX. So to wrap it up, if you use the MultiversX multisig, you didn't create your own that had different standards, etc. Yeah, I'll just wrap up and I'll let you share.
No. Take your time. I just want to mention that I will add in the comment section a thread made by our friend Robert about the whole storytelling around security on MultiversX, and he explains how with iteration the protocol is improving the security when it's confronted to some issues. So go read the post if you want to know more about it.
Thank you, Jim. So basically, that smart contract code that they've developed for the multisig does not allow you to use the async code to upgrade it. It has its own function to upgrade, and only that can do it. Meaning that in the case that Bybit was using a MultiversX like with shitloads of EGLD, they would actually not be able to do the async call thing. They would have to pass an upgrade, and then on the ledger you would see the upgrade function, and you'd be like, wait, aren't we supposed just to do a routine transfer? And that wouldn't work. If it was a custom smart contract of multisig, obviously, which allowed upgrade through async call, then that could happen. But the way it was designed by the core team actually prevents this, which is a great thing. And yeah, in general, this hack was very, very, very targeted, costed probably plenty of resources, millions in resources to implement. Is not something that you, as a regular common mortal like me, will be targeted by, and it doesn't show a flow of multisigs. Quite the opposite. Multisigs was the last bastion that they managed to go through, but multisigs is something that is trustworthy and trustless, and we should absolutely keep using them and use them more. But yeah, you want to say something, Davey?
Yeah, so I think it's not only like it's a lot of social problem and also not a blockchain problem. So if you don't want malware, like firstly, we need to put lot more focus on good antivirus, good anti-malware software, which people too many times undervalued. And also there are some interesting things. Like I think that people misunderstand what guardians do on MultiversX, because basically it's a multi-sig, but the great thing is that it's a big UX improvement over multi-sig solutions. So compared to a normal multi-sig where you have to log in with multiple signatures, you have, I don't know, the invisible guardian on the phone, you have the authenticator as the second signature. But there are some things that I find interesting. I've listened to a podcast with Armani Ferrante, which is the CEO of Backpack, which is a popular wallet that raised a lot of money recently. And something that I worked on, like, firstly, all these wallets. So with all, I mean all the wallets. So Phantom, Backpack, and also others are focusing a lot of basically what Xportal is doing. So 2FA. So it shows that it's important to do that. But something that he proposed was to have some external signer, which is something like a custodial, and basically giving this custodial some power, which is still not defined, so that you have a centralized authority that has the power to notify you in case that a transaction is, I don't know, strange, is too big, it doesn't, maybe you are sending something to a wallet that is known to be a scammer, and all these type of things. I don't know if it's the perfect solution, but probably for a lot of users it would be, as long as you trust this custodial. And also it solves another problem, which is people are scared about having the responsibility to own their seed phrase, because if they lose that, they're basically losing all the finances that they have. And yes, I understand the self-custody, I understand all of that, but if you're going to, for example, like we need some wallet recovery solutions, because otherwise, if I'm young as I am and I'm going to collect assets and invest for 30 years, if 30 years from now I'm going to lose my seed phrase, I don't know, I'm probably going to commit suicide or something like that. Because like, what are you going to do after 30 years that you've been like a ant investing relentlessly? So we need solution for that.
Arno?
Yeah. What Davey just said gives me an idea of a formidable use case for on-chain AI agents. Imagine an on-chain AI that has one single purpose, so it can't get lost. Every transaction that you sign, it reflects on the most likely intent of the transaction and the actual, so meaning, okay, I want to swap assets. So the AI sees that you're going on, I don't know, X exchange, that you're performing a swap. So it interprets the intent of the swap, and then it analyzes the actual transaction that you're approving. Simple as that. And if it sees a way that this doesn't make sense, because an AI can be interpreting your intent as a user and the code that is coming up, it sends you a warning. This would be an extraordinary use case, in my opinion, for Xportal to develop, for example. So yes, you have the 2FA, but on top of this, you have this AI guardian that is analyzing your intent. Okay, you are on this platform, on this protocol. You're on this protocol is meant to be doing this for its users, and then the transaction that comes up doesn't match the intent. Boom, warning. This is a great use case for an on-chain AI agent, because it can be super simple, so it doesn't have to, go into. It can't interpret too much. every data is on chain. That's really something. I don't know what you think about this, guys.
I think there's you mentioning something really interesting is like using AI agents for verification rather than, because I think like you're touching on something, because I've actually been, I don't say skeptical, but like I'm not overly sold on AI yet, but that's a different topic when it comes to Web3, because like I don't understand why I should trust an agent to generate transactions for me, because as we know, an agent is different than a script because it can go creatively. The beauty of AI is that it's a black box. We actually don't know its full reasoning. The only thing we can see is the output, and based on the output to make changes. Anyway, but we have also, and which launched yesterday, Relayers v3 on MultiversX. And I think that like what you say could be even more interesting with Relayers, because you could then, as a relayer, ensure that the transaction matches the type of transaction the user is supposed to do, through an AI, with an AI, to do the conversions quicker and adaptably, and then be able to warn before the transaction is even sent, that there is a risk. So I think you could script all this, but as you say, I think there might be a small edge in having an AI agent, because if your script doesn't have one specific use case, it's going to fail, and that's it. While an AI might actually try and look for solutions, for certain encodings.
You know what? After this afternoon, I'm going to make a post about it and ping all the different AI builders who are experimenting on chain to see what they think and if this would make sense.
Yeah, we have quite a few, and as you know, we're going to do a bit of marketing. There is a AI hackathon running right now that ends in a few days on MultiversX. There's 3 different tracks, so yeah.
We will receive some of the judges of this
Nice.
AI hackathon next week or the week after, so they can tell us what happened. And I was very happy to receive my PFP in a pixel way, as you can see on Twitter. So I'm not part of the judges, but I have the same artistic direction. Thank you very much for the lead design of MultiversX for doing this. Just cool mention. Do you have anything to add about the security improvement and maybe we can say the advance of security on MultiversX compared to the EVM? We could also mention the ESDT standard. We can mention the reactivity of MultiversX core team to implement new security layers and process to make it more secure for the users of the blockchain. Yeah, Arno.
Yeah, I wouldn't get down technically because I don't have the capacity to go down too much. But what I can say is that since code is infinitely scalable to a certain extent, but it is the idea behind every security breach or every security bad design. It is also infinitely scalable through code. The second thing is security threats, they compound with each other. So meaning that if you have one security threat, one security breach point that people can get in, it's already terrible, because if it can't be solved, then it, we'll see wallet drains on EVM. They just keep happening because, and it's well identified, but it's here and they keep happening. But the issue is once you have several other attack vectors, then all those compound with each other, meaning that every product that is being built on top of those infrastructure have to take care of those risks in their design. And it takes time instead of, actually focusing on what they want to build. So this is not just security, even if this is the biggest problem, it is also then an added cost whenever you want to create experience for your users. So this is why building on an infrastructure that is as safe as possible, and I'm not, just praising MultiversX here. I'm also praising all the other blockchains who have taken the time to evolve from the EVM, and because those blockchains are actually pushing adoption of blockchain technology forward, because they're making the builders' lives building on top of those blockchains easier to focus on the actual use case they want to build, on the experience, instead of patching up security attack vectors underneath.
So I'll add on top of that. I think like what you said is well exactly what I was thinking. But in addition, I think it's like starting on the right foot is so important. And I think that is like that's where we can't blame Ethereum, because Ethereum was groundbreaking. They're the ones who invent smart contracts. So we can blame them on not being able to evolve to better standards, which I'll agree with. But we can't blame them on having a flawed design, because it was the only design, and then it got improved with time. And one of the issues we're seeing on Ethereum, but also on Solana, is that Solana, for example, and we had Olivier a few months back talking about that like they've been working on the same as the SDT standard on Solana, basically tokens that can only be approved by you. You don't need approvals to smart contracts, etc. But the issue is that once you've implemented the standard at the start that is used by most people, that is the most integrated, that you see on your wallet, that you can exchange with, etc., it becomes very hard for a new standard to replace it. We haven't seen yet in the blockchain world a migration, let's say, from that kind of standard to the similar to the SDT standard of assets, which would be really interesting and would maybe start something. Well, you could say if you bridge it to MultiversX, but you still need to trust the smart contract that does the bridging on the other side. But so MultiversX did it correctly by the fact that they thought about those questions very early instead of lazily copy pasting what EVM does, and that is where I have a bone to pick with all the L2s that launch, etc. For example, Abstract, which is a chain I use daily, and I think is very interesting on the UI UX experience. But I'm just like, why didn't you, who your focus is, account abstraction and making the user experience incredible and safe, not spend more time on changing the EVM standard to have a custom solution better adapted for you? And that is where, for me, even if MultiversX didn't change anything since launch nearly, they're still so much ahead by the fact that they start on the right foot. And I think that is one of the luxuries we have on MultiversX. And when I code on other chains, I notice it. I'm just like, we do have it good on MultiversX when it comes to standards, and there's things to improve. But yeah, there is this safety for the user that is great. Obviously, the abstraction part becomes a bit more complex because you need approval by the user for everything you do. But it allows us all to sleep better at night.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have anything to add about this topic?
I only say the guardians, like for all the people that are listening, the guardians that we have on MultiversX is not a MultiversX idea. And this is great. This means that if you have some idea that you think could work on MultiversX, that could improve security or whatever, suggest it. Like there's an Agora, make a post, propose it, and if it's good enough, if we start discussing it and we see that, or we even convince the MultiversX team that is a great idea, it's going to be implemented. So don't be shy, and if you have some crazy idea that you think might make sense, propose it.
Okay, thank you very much, Davey. Yeah, thank you guys. It was very interesting. Um, you know what? We will close the show this morning. So 1 hour and a half will be very good for people that will want to rewatch it or to watch it in a replay. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for enlightening us with your takes. Yeah, wish you a very good day. Take care of yourself, and thank you again to our sponsors, Hatom Protocol and eApes. Thank you to the audience. And don't forget to subscribe, put a like, a comment, and see you next Wednesday for a new GM Web3 MultiversX. Guys, if you have anything to add before we close the show, you have the mic.
May your day
Thanks,
be
GRM.
guarded.
Can you repeat?
May your day be guarded.
No, I said thanks, GRM. Thanks, guys. It was a very insightful space, and much love to our community. Thanks for watching us.
Take care, everyone.